What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, man. David Shands here, and I want to jump straight into it, man. I want to be real. I am bleeding money right now, and I'm not saying this for sympathy. I'm saying this because the bleeding is intentional, and it's part of a bigger shift. I'm growing as a person. I'm growing as a man, and more importantly, I'm growing as an entrepreneur. There's a big shift taking place in my life, and I just want to come here and share with you all. So when I say I'm bleeding money, it means I have made a conscious decision to make less money. So last month, and before then, my morning meetup community was $97 a month. Some people might have got in at $79 a month. But I made a conscious decision to take it to $19 a month. So imagine you have 800 people that are paying let's just for round numbers, paying $100 a month, 800 people. And next month when they're billed, we're losing $80 of that, 80% of the income, because I feel the pressure to make sure I have high value. For anybody that's doing $97 a month, like I need to show up and I need to make sure there's results. And we do get incredible results. But what I decided to do is take the pressure off myself. And now that same community is $19. So everyone that paid $97 last month is paying $19 this month, which is really cool for them. And it's cool for me too, because instead of every single day throughout the week, I'm guaranteed answering questions on Tuesday and I'm teaching on Monday, seasoning guests throughout the week, whatever. But for $19 a month, and this isn't an ad, I'm going somewhere. So for $19 a month, you get the most amazing coach and community. But I dropped that because I want to make sure that we have high value, but I have lower responsibility. We're still delivering the same results. We're still delivering the same engagement, but I don't feel the pressure because I know you're not going to be able to get coached or find a community for $19. We're now competing with Netflix, and we show up every single day. My point is, I'm evolving now. If you follow my journey from like Sleep is for Suckers, Social Proof Podcast, Hot Seat, you know that I built my business from coaching, mentorship, community, making offers. I understand how to take a product and sell it. The path that I built, the level that I'm at now will not be or cannot be how I build to the next level. But what doing that, it definitely lifted me financially, and I don't have no issues. People know that when they pay me for coaching, they're going to get exactly what they asked for. And I'm cool with that. And that's how I built my brand, and I love it. And I'm a content creator. But lately I fell out of love with that process of coaching and teaching. So for the past few months, something changed in me. I did an episode with Dr. Benjamin Hardy, and he helped me realize that nothing I've ever done did not have my personal brand attached to it, or nothing that I've ever built could actually scale. Not that it can't, but because the businesses that I built are so closely related to my likeness, it's really hard to sell myself. And it's my articulation, my style, my formula. I have an ability to get people to like me because I like people. But Dr. Benjamin Hardy, y'all got to go watch that Social Proof Podcast episode with Dr. Benjamin Hardy. He changed the game. And we had a conversation where he was talking about scale. And in my mind, scale means if you're doing $3 million a year and you go to $6 million a year, that means you're scaling, right? I mean, you go from 3 to 6 million, you're scaling. And he was like, well, that's not really scaling. He said it's incremental growth and essentially it's lifestyle income. But scale means, can you build something to 100 million, which is the number that he gave? And I started to look around. I started to think to myself, I have nothing that someone else would pay me $100 million for. And that's a problem. So I'm starting to have $100 million conversations. In the $100 million conversations, the person who's going to build something and sell it and get acquired, it typically doesn't have anything to do with a $97 coaching program or a course or a mastermind. Now, I'm not saying you can't make $100 million from a mastermind, but I'm not even talking to that group of people that would have to pay me $50,000, $100,000. And even that way, it's nearly impossible to grow something like that. But how do you become a billionaire? How do you become an entrepreneur that sells something for 100 million? You can't be the person selling everything. And I am currently the person selling all the stuff that I sell. I'm leaning into something bigger and something that doesn't solely rely on me. I'm building a platform, a tech company, a marketplace, something scalable, something that when it's done, I could exit it for $100 million. That's the focus. While Mark Zuckerberg was building Facebook, he wasn't thinking, yo, maybe I'll just do this mastermind. Yo, I'm gonna sell this merch. So when y'all saw me do the going at a business sale, I'm selling merch, books, all that stuff. I got to get it all out of my life because I cannot focus. I can't focus on building a $100 million company when I have all these other streams of income. So I'm hoping that a lot more people go out of business this year. The average entrepreneur runs more than one business, which is a problem. How do you focus on something? How do you build something game-changing when you have so much going on? So what does it mean? It means I'm taking a huge financial hit. It's not that I'm going broke. I'm just making some adjustments. So the low-hanging fruit is my ability to take a product or a service, craft something, and sell it. Somebody that's already in the morning meetup, they sent me a DM the other day. They're like, yo, Dave, I need a personal mastermind. I know some other people that do masterminds. Can you put together a mastermind? $1,000, $2,000. And I thought long and hard because I know I could do that. I know I could spend a day with some people and it's a few grand and it saves them 2 years. I can do that. But I sent her a voice note back and I was like, yo, sis, I do not have the capacity. I would love to service you, but I do not have the capacity. I'm focused and I'm building something huge. And I can't run and go get the money. I didn't say that part, but Kay, my assistant, when I got done with this voice note, she said, I'm so proud of you. I'm keeping my focus. Now, I didn't sell off my studio. I still have my studio. I'm still going to create content because this is my outlet of teaching entrepreneurship and building an audience of people that will be on this platform that I'm building, which hopefully in the next 8 weeks, that is the only thing you'll see me talking about. But I'm no longer trying to run the bag up. I want to build equity in a business that cashes out all at one time. Can't keep chasing these dollars and these ideas. Entrepreneurial maturity says, I am willing to not move on every single idea that I have. So I'm slowing down to speed up. I'm stopping the process of beautifying the house to lay a stronger foundation that I can build a skyscraper on. So yes, that is not clickbait. I am bleeding money. I'm making less than I used to. So what I'm doing right now is someone asked me today, they said, well, as you're transitioning to this new company, what's some of the steps, what's the processes that you're going through? And first is I'm looking at all my expenses. I'm looking at everything that goes out on my card. I'm looking at it as if I am 100% going broke. We need to cut some things. Man, I wish I could show y'all all of the stuff that was recurring on my credit cards from years of business, softwares and systems, and even people that I had on retainer that I forgot I'm not even using you anymore, but I'm still paying. Going through this process, I'm saving probably $4,000 or $5,000 every single month by simply going through my expenses what happens is when you start making money, your expenses go up too. And because you're making money and can handle the expenses, it doesn't seem like it's killing you, but it is, which is why I say I'm bleeding money. So I started, okay, I put this list together for my assistant and said, hey, can you cancel these subscriptions? But it was so many of them. I called up my American Express cards, all of them, and said, yo, cancel all these cards, send me a new one. But when you send me a new one, and you got to make sure you tell them this, or certain recurring charges will come onto the new card number. I said, make sure I'm opting out of you transferring recurring payments from my last cards to this one. I'm coming with a new slate. That's not the best way to do it, not the most responsible, because I have systems that are tied to cards. But my rationale is they're going to send me an email and tell me this is broken, I need a card, and I'll just give them the card. But I'm looking at all my expenses, all my recurring payments, my lifestyle habits. I'm cutting all of them. Oh, Dave, you're a multi-millionaire. Yeah, my wife is meal prepping right now. I told my wife we can no longer do Instacart. And I know we got the 2 kids and it's more convenient that they just send the groceries to the house. Will this put us in the poorhouse if it doesn't stop? No. But we got to start adopting the habits. I'm going back to that Cheesecake Factory boy while I was working my job and building my business, and I'm accounting for every single dollar. So yes, my wife is meal prepping. No, we're not doing Instacart. We are going to cook a lot more. No, I'm not stopping because I'm hungry. When my mom, I never understood it when my mom used to say, boy, we ain't stopping on McDonald's. We got food at the house. I understand now. We got food at the house. And I was actually having a conversation with my wife, and we were going through the credit card statement. And typically this household credit card is about $10,000 a month. And she's like, well, I don't really be spending frivolous things. But we went through it and we saw, Amazon here, it's $12 here, a little Instacart, a little DoorDash, little this, little that. The last 9 days, we spent $3,000. It's not big ticket items. It's the small stuff that starts to compound. So we're going over the numbers. I'm like, we have to chill. And it's not just her, it's me too. I'm looking at my expenses as well. I'll buy a new piece of equipment because we need it in the studio. When do we need it? Nah. And I'm also shutting down things that just don't make sense. So today, I want to walk you through how I got here and what I'm doing now, my mindset, and most importantly, the practical steps to slow down in order to speed up. If you're in a season where you've chosen to sacrifice the short term for something big long term, this was for you. So my first point is failing out of love. Hold on. My first point is falling out of love with the old process. If you find yourself falling out of love with the old process, the way you've been doing things, it just seems like a hustle and it's not going to lead you to where you want to go. Listen, let me take you back. When I started my Sleep is for Suckers t-shirt company, I started hustling, working at, the Cheesecake Factory, just taking my money, working nights, working at the Cheesecake Factory, building my business during the daytime. Well, I thought going from a $25 t-shirt sale to a $50 coaching session was incredible. I'm like, what? I'm going from t-shirts to coaching? Oh, they just give you the money too. It's like it don't even cost you nothing to make the money. In t-shirts, you got to buy a $7 t-shirt, sell it for $30. But in coaching, they just pay you to talk. And then I started thinking, golly, when they started paying me for speaking engagements, I said, this is incredible. I get to stand on stage for 30, 45 minutes and make 5 figures. Incredible. In fact, the last year, I brought on a young lady to actually help me with speaking gigs. Brought her into the office. She comes in 3 days a week. We focus on getting speaking gigs. I'm not trying to do that either. I looked at the list of billionaires and how they made their billions. And a lot of them have something to do with tech. So I started building a tech company. I'm building a marketplace right now, and I can't wait to share it with you all. But I'm shutting everything down. I understand you feel stuck in your business, and I know why. It's one of these 4 things are off. Either you don't have a coach, you don't know how to create content, you don't have a strong cash flow model, or you don't have a community. And this is exactly why I created the Morning Meetup. Listen, y'all been watching this podcast for years now. For $97 a month, I've been coaching entrepreneurs every single week, but right now I have a different goal to invite 10,000 members in. So for a very limited time, this community is only $19 a month. You will get me live every single Monday, and I'm answering your questions every single Tuesday. We got community day every Friday. So you need a coach, somebody that understands business. You need to understand how to create content. We teach that every single week. You also need a strong cash flow model. That's what this entrepreneurship thing is about. And number 4, you have to have a community. I want to connect you with other entrepreneurs that are in your backyard from around the country. All right, so click the link below or themorningmeetup.com. $19 a month and you're locked in. Let's go. All right, so I want this episode to not be me teaching you something, but in my mind, I'm starting to map out how I'm going to get there. So this isn't me teaching you something because I haven't done it. I haven't built $100 million company, but hopefully this conversation actually inspires you and motivates you to at least start thinking. I just have some of my notes of conversations that I've been having lately, and this is where my brain is. A lot of y'all think I've been crazy. Hey, David is just doing too much, but a lot of entrepreneurs I meet just think too small, period. And they're asking, how can I make $5,000 in a month or 10 grand, or how can I make 20,000, maybe even 100,000 in a year? But I mean, that's cool, but here's the truth. None of that gets you to a $100 million conversation. It doesn't get you to a $100 million table. And here's the crazy part. From what I understand, building a $100 million company doesn't take more hustle. It takes a different mindset. It takes a different strategy. It takes a different circle. And more importantly, a bigger vision. So let me walk you through 5 shifts that I'm making. If you want to build something that scales, I'm talking about 9 figures. I'm talking about life-changing money, not just for you, but your generations and generations. And I'm talking about the type of person that goes back and renovates their old high school, or the type of person who puts $1 million into a fund to go feed the people in your city. I'm talking about big. Can you see it big? Number 1, think in exits, not just income. You gotta start thinking in exits, not just income. So most entrepreneurs are thinking, how do I make the money today? But $100 million companies, they're built by asking, what would make someone want to buy this one day? Not the product, but what would make someone want to buy this thing that I'm building one day? Let me give you some stats real quick. According to PitchBook, over 80% of companies valued at $100 million reach that level not because of current profits, but because of future potential. So it's about user growth, technology, market position. They exit the 100 million because this company can scale to $1 billion. So someone says, oh, I'll give you 100 million because I see where this is going. It can scale to $1 billion. And many of us don't even think about numbers that big. So think about Instagram. They had 13 employees. They didn't even have any revenue. When Facebook acquired them, they acquired them for $1 billion. Why? Because they had 100 million users. And Facebook knew what attention was worth. So the shift is, stop only focusing on monthly income or how much I can make off this book launch. What makes this valuable if you sold it? If you don't have an exit strategy, you don't have a $100 million mindset, you don't have a $100 million business on your hands. Number 2, you have to attack a massive market and not just your backyard. Shouts out to my party promoters and my club promoters, and they want to own Atlanta. It's not 100 million. You can't hit 100 million in a niche where only a few thousand people even care. You need a total addressable market. It's called TAM, T-A-M, total addressable market. How big is the market that struggles with this problem that you're solving? 42% of all startups fail because there's no real market need. What does that mean? You can be brilliant, but if you're playing in a small sandbox, you're never going to build a castle. Uber wasn't about taxis. It was all about transportation. Airbnb wasn't about hotels. It was about global travel and experiences. So ask yourself, is your idea comfortable or is it massive? Is there a big problem that you're solving? Because a $10 million idea might change your life, but only $1 billion market can get you 100 million. Okay. A $10 million idea might change your life. But when you have $1 billion market, you can get at least 100 million. Here's number 3. And y'all, this is not me preaching at you. I'm just giving you my mindset and the thoughts because I can't teach you something that I haven't done. But I'm hoping we can have a conversation, especially in the chat, in the comments. Just like talk to me. I want to know what you're thinking at the time. This is for my entrepreneurs that maybe you're burnt out, maybe you're struggling, maybe you're trying to figure this thing out. What I found out is that it's easier to make a lot of money. It's harder to make a little bit of money. When I was working at the Cheesecake Factory, I was making maybe $30,000 a year. And guess what? I had to work hard. I had to work the whole year. I had to work the whole week and work. I couldn't take days off. I mean, to make the 30, 40,000 as a server, it's hard work. And typically, the less money you make, the harder you have to work for it. But when you start thinking about something big, solving a big problem, you almost have to remove yourself because you can't make it happen on your own. Here's number 3. We have to build systems that scale without us. So let's keep it 100. If your business depends on you showing up every single day, you don't have a company, you have a job that you built for yourself. A $100 million company runs on systems. Oh, let me say that again. A $100 million company runs on systems, not superheroes. A $100 million company doesn't run off of a talent. It runs off of a system. McDonald's isn't the best burger in the world, but Ray Kroc did build a system so that a teenager in Memphis or Atlanta or Tokyo could deliver the exact same experience every single time. A 14-year-old can run a multi-billion-dollar company. Why? Because they got systems. It's the same exact thing. That's why McDonald's has done over $20 billion a year in revenue. It's not the best burgers. They got one of the best systems. So this is what I want you to do. Let me give you a practical step. Audit your business and ask yourself, if I took a 6-month vacation, would this business grow or collapse? If the answer is collapse, you've got work to do. This is the question I'd ask myself. If I went away for 6 months, I'm not creating content, I'm not putting out podcasts, I'm not telling people to join the morning meetup, which you should. If I'm not selling a product or a service, y'all will forget about me. Y'all forget about y'all. You would find another podcast to listen to. You find another person to listen to. We're all competing for your attention. I'm so grateful that you're watching this right now. But I understand if I leave for 6 months, it's over. Yo, think about what happens when really important people pass away. Eventually they get forgotten about. Shouts out to Nipsey, incredible artist, man. His name will never die, but there are some diehard Nipsey fans that when he passed, they were hurt, but now they just in the club rocking to other music. So I'm saying we need to create, if something as someone as big as Nip can be forgotten about by fans, what I'm saying is, your company will crash and will fold if you take a vacation. You take a month off, it's over. But that's only because of the business model that we built. I'm being transparent. Remember, I said this is a conversation. If I went away for 2-3 months, man, business will crash. I've done some things investment wise where I think I wouldn't be homeless, but it's still, I'm not immune to this. We need to build something. That's why I'm jumping into the tech and I'm building a marketplace where there are going to be people who hate me that love the platform though. Because my objective is to create separation. Now I do have to be the promoter in the beginning, but I don't want it to be based on, join me on this platform. I want you to love the platform, and whether I'm attached to it or not, it solves a problem. Number 4, we got to start leveraging, y'all. And we have to leverage other people's resources. So a $100 million company is not built on your back alone. They're built on other people's money, other people's audiences, other people's infrastructures, other people's ideas, other people's arms, other people's assistance. Airbnb is worth $90 billion today, but they don't own any hotels. They scale by leveraging other people's properties. And if you look at the story, they scaled by leveraging other people's recommendations and comments and reviews and ratings. That's how they grew. They got people to review on this property. So when someone else sees the property, they say, I want to book because this other person said it was 5-star. It's not the owner that built it. I'm hustling backwards right now. You came here because you like my voice, or you like this title, or you like how I'm delivering. This is why you're still here. But you can't build a $100 million company that way. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to be a content creator, but I understand I have to continue to leverage content for something else that I'm building tomorrow. Amazon, they ain't build every product and sell it. They open the platform to other people to sell, and now 60% of Amazon retail sales come from third-party vendors. They built a company, but 60% of their income comes from other stores, other people. Companies that use partnerships and collaborations, I read somewhere, grow 5 times faster than those that don't. Companies that use partnerships and collaborations grow 5 times faster than companies that don't. So the mindset shift is stop asking, how do I do this all myself? Or what can I do? Or the woe is me, I don't have the resources. Start asking, who has resources? Who has the money? Who has the network that I can leverage to scale faster? And number 5, we got to prioritize moats over money. We got to prioritize the moat. So I think this last one is most important. If you want to build a $100 million company, we have to find a moat. So a moat is something that protects you from being copied. So you have an island surrounded by water. So if there's a moat, you have a house surrounded by water that has a gate or a brick wall back in the old days, right? That is a moat. It's harder for the enemy to attack because there's separation between you and them. Anybody can knock off your idea, but they can't knock off your moat. Okay, what is a moat in technology? One of the moats could be your technology. You created some technology that's proprietary to you. You can also create a brand moat, meaning you have trust and a community. Nike on cloud is doing a really, really good job of creating that loyalty. Apple, there are people that will fight with you if you say that a Samsung or a Galaxy is better than an iPhone. They'll fight with you on that because what they did was they built such a tight-knit community. And what they did was they paired your phone and your laptop and your desktop and your watch all together in one ecosystem with your credit cards. You can't leave if you wanted to. They built a moat, a brand. You can't, it's really, really difficult to, and anything you do can be copied, but it is going to be insanely difficult for any other carrier to do something like that. Or data. Data could be a moat. You figure out a way to gather data and gather information that no one else has. Another moat could be the network effect, meaning your product gets stronger as more people use it. So think about Facebook or think about Instagram. Some people have such a big lead on the market, they've created a moat. Now look at Amazon. Their moat isn't just Prime, it's the logistics network that they've built. So imagine over 1,200 warehouses worldwide. Competitors can't copy, they can copy the website, but they can't copy that type of infrastructure. So the question is, what is your moat? If you don't know yet, you're vulnerable. And if you're vulnerable, you're not in a $100 million conversation. This is a little tougher because this is what differentiates us. This is what separates us from the crowd. Man, shouts out to Dean Forbes. I've been talking about him since I talked to him at InvestFest. And I'm telling him about this technology that I built. Shouts out to Dean Forbes, man. I met him at InvestFest. And I've been talking about him since I talked to him that day. And he's just a brilliant, brilliant individual. So I was telling him about the platform that I'm building, the marketplace, the technology. And he said, that's dope. Now this guy has exited billionaire from Canada. I believe he's from Canada. He's exited company. So he understands this stuff. So when I got a chance to talk to him, I was just super excited. What he said to me though, changed my life forever. Discouraged me a little bit, but also inspired and motivated me as well. So I'm telling him about it, and maybe it took me 3 minutes to tell him in this loud, noisy VIP area at InvestFest. There's people walking back and forth. There's food and drinks, and everybody's laughing and chilling. And I get to have this moment with this gentleman. And I'm so excited that I get to tell him my idea, and I'm even more excited that he decided to listen. After I was done, he looked at me and he was like, man, that's dope. And he said, that's good. I like it. But what he said next changed my life. He said, I love what you're doing, and I think it's going to be amazing. But essentially, the value isn't in the idea. The value is in your ability to build it. All right. Someone had an idea of connecting people via social media, like connecting people on the computer, like being able to talk and message. And I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg wasn't the first person to think about this, but he was the person that could build it. He was the type of person that was relentless. He was the type of person, according to the Facebook movie, maybe it was a little socially awkward, meaning his stock, his investment isn't in other people. I understand how these algorithms work. I understand how code works. I get it. He was the person that could build it. So some of you all have amazing ideas, and you get upset when someone takes your idea. You get upset when someone does the idea that you were thinking about. But if you didn't build it, that means you're not the person that could build it anyway. So good ideas don't exist. If you have a good idea and you can't execute it, it's a bad idea. You might as well do something else with your time because you can't do it. You're not going to do it. You don't have the strength to do it. You don't have the care to do it. You don't have the expertise to do it. You don't have the willingness to learn to do it. You don't want to get off the couch. Good ideas don't exist. You can have a bad idea with the right person that can go build it, and it becomes a game changer. So here's the recap, y'all. Let's think in exits, not income. We got to attack a massive market. We got to build systems, not jobs, for ourselves. We got to leverage other people's resources. We got to prioritize the moats over money. What is the moat that we can create? What is the thing that makes you special, or the things you're building special that's really hard to duplicate? If you think too small, you're going to stay small. But if you stretch your vision, you build for scale, and you played a $100 million game, you'll start making different decisions today. And trust me, this shift will change everything for you. So I'm being as transparent as possible in this moment so you all can see me transitioning or changing in real time. I'm going into a space I know nothing about. Could I lose everything? Possibly. Because I'm going away from what I already knew. I'm going away from what I know how to do best. And I'm moving into another area. And I feel so good about it. Now, will I be bleeding money for a month or two or longer? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take for this. Most of these big platforms didn't have any money coming in. Most of these social media platforms, when they sold to whatever, they didn't have any money coming in. So what did they do? They held on. And I'm fully preparing myself for this process. I'm fully preparing myself to hold on to the vision and the idea and not revert back to, let me just start fixing people's credit now. Let me just get some merch so I can pay the bill. I'm locked in. And I want you to too. I want you to lock in as well. Now's the time, family. I love you. Thank y'all so much for listening to the Social Proof Podcast. Thank you all for the support. I'm not going nowhere. I promise you I'll probably be creating content for the next 50 years. But I've always been transparent in where I'm at, and I want to be transparent in letting you all know it's okay to go backwards to go forward. I'm cool not making the amount of money that I would normally make doing the normal things, because in a few years you are going to see, it was all worth it. I'll see y'all next week, family. Peace.